Good evening, fuckers, and welcome to the fourth of the Train Simulator Classic request videos. So this one was requested by JimJimPlays, and it's slightly different to what he initially requested, but I'll go into why once we get underway. So for this one, it is a Class 37, which is carrying pulling mixed freight. It's 17 freight wagons, I believe, and we are doing basically the entire length of the Portsmouth direct line. So we are going from London Waterloo right the way down to Portsmouth Harbour, which, let's face it, is a route that such a freight train would not take, but yeah, it shows the entire Portsmouth direct line, so, you know, fuck it, we'll do that. As far as, like, yeah, all the minor details, summer, clear day, we'll be starting at 11 AM, so yeah, there shouldn't be any problems as far as things like wheel slip, things like heavy commuter traffic. That's all long gone. It should all be pretty fine, so let's get her underway. So what do I mean by it's slightly different to what he requested? What he initially requested was a Class 46. Now there's a bit of a problem with that, insofar as the Class 46 is not in the game. The Class 45, which is virtually identical to the 46, that is in the game, but I don't have it. And also, he was under the impression that the Class 46 ran on the Portsmouth main line quite a lot. Which it didn't. It was sort of up around Merseyside and Lancashire, and it never left there. So after a bit of investigating, myself and Jim, we came to the conclusion that the loco that he used to see, especially as he was seeing this around 1988, which is 4 years after the last Class 46 had been scrapped, yeah, it was actually the Class 37 that you were seeing, which is fine. Well, if you've seen my previous streams, you'll know that I am a big fan of Class 37. I've driven them a couple of times in live streams, so I've got absolutely no issues whatsoever with driving one of these again. So we take a look along the length of the train itself. You can see there's all sorts of different freight that we're carrying. Unfortunately, it's all empty, but yeah, there was no option to carry full freight. So I simply went with the longest train I could possibly have, which is this one. And yeah, we'll see what sort of challenges this provides. Well, hopefully it doesn't start with a challenge of getting out of here. I'm pretty sure that it's all going to be green lights. So Portsmouth Harbour is 74 1/3 miles away. ETA it's going to be about an hour and 34 minutes. Hopefully we can shave a bit of that time off. Let's get underway. Now, the amount of wagons that I am pulling here, I can't just throw it into full power. We are getting up to speed from standstill. Plus, there's 15 mph speed limit round here. Now, I am fairly sure that although the weight of this loco is nowhere near as high as it would be if these wagons were full, the weight is still going to be relatively high. So I don't know for certain what sort of speeds I'm going to be doing, but I'm thinking between 65 and 70. Yeah, so max speed on this is 80. So yeah, if we we'll up it a bit. We'll go 70 to 75. We'll take a bit of a risk. It's a long old route, so you know we can give it a shot. Right, let's take her up to 50. Certainly not the maximum speed that we can do on this route. We're still far too close to all the various lines here, so we're not going to get the chance to take it up to max speed for a good couple of miles yet. Certainly not until we've passed Vauxhall, the next station, which really is not far away from Waterloo at all. Our acceleration is not quite as good as I thought it would be, so we'll bump it up a bit. Because at the rate we're going, we're not going to hit 50 mph until we pass Vauxhall Station. Here's Vauxhall coming up. See, we can go through here full tilt pretty much. So let's do it. We may need to ease off the throttle a little bit, but yeah, but we're not going to need to do it for very long, as we are fast approaching the 60 mph section. So there we are, the loco has passed it. We've just got to wait for the train in its entirety to do so, which it has. Let's take her up to 60. And it would seem that if my intention was to do between 70 and 75 for this whole trip, well, that might be a bit ambitious, because it looks like it may be 60 is the fastest I'm going to be able to do. Which is fine, I've got no problem with that. As we pass Battersea, you couldn't really see it very well. Now we certainly can't see it very well. Believe me, it's out there somewhere. There we go. Right, let's ease off. We're almost at 60, but we have a 50 mph speed reduction coming up in 1 mile. But then once we pass Clapham Junction, we are going to be able to go up to max speed, at least the max speed that I'm going to risk. So, as is so often the case, I've braked way too early. We're still 2/3 of a mile away from the Yeah, from the 50 mph speed limit. See if we can keep speed. Well, we're certainly not doing so yet. Let's take it down to this 13% throttle. We're now in the 50 mph section. It looks like, okay, we just dropped down very, very slightly, so looks like 13% throttle is doing okay. At least certainly while we're on flat ground like this. So we've long since passed the 75 marker, and now the entire train has. Let's take it up to full speed. 75 is the maximum that we'll be doing for the entire route. Now hopefully the game performance will improve a bit once we start leaving London behind. It's not been too great so far. Acceleration is not one of the strong points of the Class 37, especially when it has 17 goods wagons being pulled along behind it. Even if they are empties. Through Earlsfield. And it's not long before we reach Wimbledon. Fucking snobby place that it is. So 1 mile of Wimbledon. ETA has already come down a couple of minutes. I mean, it's not a lot, but bearing in mind we've really not got very far yet. We are still very much in London. Looks like we're going to be able to do this journey somewhat quicker than the hour and 35 minutes that we were originally scheduled to do it in. So hurtling through Wimbledon at 73 mph, very nearly 74. So we are pretty much top whack. So let's bring the speed down to, or throttle down to 13. Now we are on a very slight downward gradient, 1 in 741. Nevertheless, we are losing speed. So we increase throttle to 37. Certainly reduce the amount that speed's coming down by, but it is still coming down. And I suspect this train is not going to be able to coast at 75 mph very easily. It seems to be doing 73 okay. Let's chance some exterior shots then. Whoa. Very choppy still. It'll be fine once we are outside London and we haven't got quite so much being rendered on screen. Yeah, still steady at 73, haven't lost any speed at all. So we have another speed increase coming up, which will allow 80 mph, but we're not going to be able to do that in this thing, so we're going to stay treating it as a 75 mph max. Not sure exactly how far it is we have to go before we are outside London. Looking at, okay, I was just about to say it looks like we may be pretty close to it, but I'm not so sure now. Red signal's not our line, we're still green, we're fine. Speed has actually gone up by 0.1. I can live with that. Okay, well if it's Hampton Court Junction we're approaching now, then yeah, we are certainly outside London now. Well, there's already been more curves on this part of the journey than I think there was in the entirety of the 2 previous videos I did. Maybe even all 3. No idea what station this is. Well, it's all coming along pretty smoothly. We're now entering, I mean, this must be Greenbelt land, so we're definitely outside London now. Absolutely no problems with the old throttle control though. Keeping it on 43 is doing us just fine. If only all the locos were this easy to maintain speed with. Yeah, another station I'm not at all familiar with. It doesn't help that they don't even appear on the HUD there, so yeah, I really am clueless as to what those stations are. I have a feeling the first station that's going to appear on the HUD could be Woking. Hasn't quite got the time frame right. There's a lot of what I think are class 350s that we are passing, and yet here we are in a BR Blue class 37. It's a shame that it doesn't take that into account when it's putting the quick drive scenarios together. No, looks like a fairly major station, but I've no idea which one that is. Ah, the station actually appears on the HUD, West Byfleet. 1.5 miles away. I have a feeling that unless I get some areas where I've got to reduce speed, I may not need to touch the throttle again for this entire trip. So no need to slow down as we go through West Byfleet. So we'll go thundering through there at 73 mph. Right, so we're now on an uphill gradient. We might start losing some speed here. We're on a 1 in 226. It hasn't altered our speed at all so far. And there's a 40 mph speed reduction coming up. So that speed reduction is in 1.5 miles just before we go through Woking station. That will almost certainly be because it's transferring us onto another line. And we have yellows here. Double yellows, so we're going to need to start braking here. See what this next signal is. Looks like single yellow, so we definitely need to watch out. It's very likely a train in front of us that stops at Woking station. Yeah, that is single yellow, isn't it? Right, let's get some more braking. Now I can see a red there, but that may be after we've changed which rail we're on. Let's hope anyway. Right, doesn't look like we are going to be changing any. Ah, it's just giving us the okay. So we must be changing at these points here. Yep, there we go. Speed up a bit. So we've got a yellow ahead. So I don't think we want to speed up too much. Double yellow. The next set of lights is showing a single yellow. I don't really need to slow down anymore. Because the next signal is not for another, well, over half a mile. In fact, yeah, let's chance speeding up a little. Not by much, especially as we're about to enter a 40 mph section as we take this curve here, head down this line. So this is the line that is taking us towards Portsmouth, I think. Well, obviously it is taking us towards Portsmouth because that is our destination, but yeah, if we had stayed on the other line before turning off down this one, I think we would have ended up sort of going into like Hampshire and that. Right, we're now on the 90 mph section. I think we are good to go. Let's crank it up, take us back up to 75 or 73 as we seem to be doing for most of it. So Walthamstow, the first, well, the next station, just 1 mile away now. Now Woking, where we've just gone through, there is like a freight depot of some kind around there, and normally for freight runs that would be where we would start, and the final destination would be like another sort of freight depot down in Fratton, which is pretty close to Portsmouth. I mean, Fratton Park is where Portsmouth play football, so but I figured for this video we'll show the whole route. So ETA shows we have just over an hour to go before we reach the next, or reach the final destination. We have 47.5 miles left to do. In fact, the game performance seems to have picked up quite a bit now that we've left all the large amount of towns and whatever, all of the buildings and that of London and all the major towns around it. We're now into very much a sort of countryside setting. It looks like we are travelling through the middle of fuck all nowhere. But those are the kinds of routes I like. You get some fantastic scenic shots. Let's see what we've got around here. Try and press the right button, not the unloading button. Yeah, this looks great. Train seems to be wobbling a fair bit, though. Right, so we have a 50 mph section coming up as we approach Guildford. So, yeah, I don't think coasting is going to reduce our speed by anywhere near enough. So we'll keep going past this signal and then we'll see what our speed is like as we approach the next signal, which is a mile away, and see how much we need to take off. Obviously we're going to have to do some pretty hefty braking because there's a 25 mph section at the far end of Guildford. That again must be a I'm going to need to start braking. We're not losing speed anywhere near enough. But yeah, that 25 mph section just after Guildford must be going across some points, changing the line that we're on. So we're fine as far as staying within the speed limit now. Again, ended up braking way too early, but right, I've been so transfixed with that 50 mph limit that I forgot about the 25. We're going to have to brake pretty hard. I still think we're going to, it's not going to be as terrible as the last video. In fact, we've done it okay. More than okay. Yep, so that's the reason why, those points there. So once the entire train has passed the 60 section, we can then, go full power. chances are when we hit the 70, yeah, we're not going to need to worry about slowing down any. We're not going to be even close to 60. No, so we're now in the 70 section. I think the same is going to apply to the 85 section, but of course we are going to stick to 75 max. This 85 section doesn't actually last very long before we have the next speed reduction down to 70. I don't think that's going to affect us too much. And then the next station, which is Farncombe, or is it Farncombe? Whatever it is, we're not stopping there, so. Get another ICOS on the go. Okay, so obviously we don't need to worry too much about this speed limit reduction, but this next one coming up in 1.5 miles, we are going to need to loosen speed there on the approach to Godalming station. Right, let's coast, and yeah, I think we need to start doing some light braking. Actually, I think we've done rather more than some light braking. We're now, yeah, absolutely fine as far as the speed limit goes. Jeez, it almost looks like we're tilting through that curve. I mean, I know we're not, but it does look it. And we're back into a 70 mph. Oh no, sorry, we never left the 70 mph section. I just braked far too early again. So here we are, we're now in the 60 mph section as we go through Godalming, and then as soon as we go through that, we are able to then open it up to taps again. Well, once the entire train has passed the sign. And we can now take us back up to our max of 75. Way more curves around this section than there have been in any of the previous 3 videos, that is for sure. We're approaching Milford Station, and straight after that there's another speed limit increase, which is not going to affect us at all. But now we are approaching a very steep upward climb, so I have a feeling that even though we'll be on full throttle, we may end up losing speed going up here. So we're on a 1 in 82 climb, and yet we are losing speed, and we're losing speed at a fair old rate. So Whitley platform is up, yeah, just after the top of this hill, and then we may need to do some controlled braking as we head back down again. Did I say Whitley platform? It's just Whitley. So we've lost, yeah, quite a bit of speed coming up here, but we have now reached the pinnacle and we are going to start heading down. Now speed is increasing a fair bit, despite it only being a 1 in 110. Then for locos that's enough. Unfortunately it's not that long though before we start going back uphill again. We are gaining all that speed that we've lost. So much so that the 75 limit that I want to keep us to does mean we may need some controlled braking. Not much, especially as we are, you know, we've reached the bottom, and now we are on another uphill section, so we definitely need full throttle here. This is another 1 in 80, and this looks like it goes on for a fair while. Losing quite a bit of speed, bearing in mind we were having to do controlled braking on that downhill section, so we were at 75, we've already slowed to 63, and we still have quite a way to go. We are 33.5 miles from Portsmouth Harbour. We have about 45 minutes to go before we arrive, at least if the ETA is anything to go by. So Hazelmere is the next station. I'm glad we don't have to stop there. We're going to need some pretty hard braking to stop ourselves rolling back from that one. So we've now lost 20 miles an hour. We're down to 55. Despite, yeah, being full throttle the whole way. We are quite close to the pinnacle though. It's not long after we pass Hazelmere station. Then we got some downhill sections, so at the very least we'll be able to gain some of this speed back. Okay, so we're at the pinnacle. We are now starting to go downhill, certainly picking up speed. We're on a 1 in 100 downhill gradient. We may have to do some controlled braking on here actually. We're doing 71, and as I have already said multiple times, I don't really want to be going over 75. So let's coast it. See what that does to our speed. In fact, I was about to say our speed seems to be staying at a constant, but that did not last very long. So we're at 75, so we will need to you don't need to put a lot of braking on at all actually, which is handy I suppose, especially as we are just coasting around it. Speed is still going up, but at a fairly gentle rate. But in fact, yeah, I wouldn't have applied that braking if I'd noticed that yeah, it's now leveled out and now we're going slightly uphill again. So let's put a bit of throttle on, put it up to 43. Seems to be maintaining our speed. We head through Liphook station. And after there we are going down the hill again. Gradients are nowhere near as steep as they were, so I think we can keep it on 43% throttle. 73.1 mph is absolutely fine. In fact, get some more exterior shots on it. We are fast approaching the 25 miles to go point. And there it is, 25 miles to go. So this station coming up, just over a mile away, and I've just noticed we are going way over the speed that I've really got to start paying more fucking attention. So yeah, we're on a 1 in 80 downward gradient. No wonder the speed had really picked up. We are still downhill, but it's now a very slight downhill, 1 in 686. Maybe we can actually start putting some throttle back on again. Let's get our speed back up. So there's a speed reduction coming up to 85 mph, but that is not going to affect us in any way. That is the 85 mph section. Makes no difference to. It makes no difference to us. Petersfield coming up in just over a mile. Portsmouth now 20 miles away. Portsmouth Harbour, I should say. So another speed reduction coming up in just over 1.5 miles. This one will affect us as it is a 70 mph section, but considering there is a 1 in 155 uphill gradient between us and there, if we coast it we will easily lose enough speed before we reach that. But then there's a much far greater speed reduction coming after that. We need to get down to 40. So already fine as far as this next speed reduction goes. And that's just warning us that it's approaching. So we don't need to take any action for that one, but we will need to apply braking for the second one. We're not going to lose enough speed from coasting, even if we are going uphill. So I'm not going to apply any more power to try and get us closer to 70 mph because there's really no point. Just apply some braking to get us . I don't think we need to worry too much about, yeah, we're going to be fine. We're not losing a lot of speed from coasting. I thought we would because of the uphill gradient, but no, nowhere near enough. I don't really know why it's only a 40 mph speed limit through this tunnel, but it goes back up to 70 as soon as we hit the other side. I can only assume that the curve through here is quite considerable. It did look it actually, so yeah, I guess I can understand why it was there. Okay, so the limit is now 70 once the entire train has passed it. There we go. Let's crank it up to full power. Get ourselves back up to 70 mph. This downhill section 1 in 80, this is certainly going to help acceleration. In fact, it's very likely that we will need to do some controlled braking while still on this downhill section here. Let's coast the rest of it. so we actually no, we may not need to use any controlled braking because we've got a 75 mph speed limit increase in 1.3 miles. We've not quite reached the 70 limit yet, but our speed is increasing again as we hit another downhill section. We are going to need to brake just a touch there. Okay, so with the downhill section levelling out to 1 in 300, we are losing speed now very slowly. So once we pass the 75 limit, we can take it up to 75, our max. So that 90 mph speed limit increase is pretty irrelevant, and it's also quite short before another 70 mph limit decrease just outside of Rowlands Castle. So we're only 12.5 miles from Portsmouth now. I can't help thinking, are we actually on Portsea Island itself now? So I don't know the area that well, so I'm not certain. And yeah, I just noticed that too late. It is alerting us of speed decrease. So if we keep it where we are now, it should be fine. So we're going to hurtle through Rowlands Castle station at about 68-69 mph. Okay, so now we passed the 85 limit increase, so we can let the train continue to gain speed, but we can coast this section. .50 mph speed reduction coming up, about 1.5 miles away. Braking way too early, so the next station is Havant. The only thing I know about Havant is Havant and Waterlooville football team. Shave off a little more. speed. Okay, so we're now fine when we hit the new limit, but there is a 40 mph limit not long after it. Now I have a feeling the stations are going to start being a lot closer together again. Again, we're fine for the limit here as we go through Havant Station. I think we really do not have long at all before at the next station, which is Bedhampton. At least we can increase speed to 70 mph before going through Bedhampton Station, and then there's another increase just after that to 85. Now less than 8 miles from Portsmouth Harbour. I hope we can start giving it a bit of throttle, increasing it a little. Now we can increase it a lot as we hit the 70 mph section. We're now in the 85 mph section. I'd be quite pleasantly surprised if we're going to be able to reach 75 before we then need to start slowing down again. We're just 6 miles from Portsmouth Harbour now, and our ETA is about 12 minutes. Right now, the 60 mph section coming up. I think we can coast through a bit here. We will probably need to brake very slightly in order to hit that limit. See, there's a warning for it. absolutely fine for this section. As I so often do, it brakes far too early. We're still half a mile from it. So now we can go back up to 80, or 75 in our case, as we are approaching Hilsey station. So that 75 mph reduction we could ignore, but the 40 that's quite close to it, yeah, we certainly can't ignore that. Now, next station, which is Fratton, this is the station where, well, not this station, but there would be like a freight depot somewhere around here, and I would be sort of turning off and heading down there, but yeah, obviously for this particular one I will not be doing that. I think that alerts for the 75 reduction and not the 40. I'm way below the 75, that is for sure. I will need to brake a bit more to make sure for the 40, but I mean we're still half a mile from it. So once we pass through the 75 limit, which we have now, we'll start braking for the 40. Again, yeah, braked far too early and not far too long, but longer than I probably needed to. So I think, yeah, down there is where I would be going, yeah, for the freight drop off. But as far as this, yeah, this video goes, we're carrying on to through Fratton station itself, and we don't have far to go at all before we hit Portsmouth and Southsea, which is the penultimate station. So 25 mph limit coming up. Fine for this one. Then there's a 15 mph limit not too far after this. Okay, now we're still green up ahead there. So again, we've braked early, but not ridiculously early, so having reached Portsmouth and Southsea platform station, we are less than a mile from Portsmouth Harbour, which is the next station and the final station on the route. We're on a 1 in 61 uphill gradient here, so yeah, need to throttle up a bit just to try and maintain our speed. That's fine. Now, is that red for us? Doesn't look like it. No, we're fine. There's no point going to 40 once the train passes the 40 limit increase, because we'll have barely any distance to go before we're at another 20 mph limit, so we'll treat it as 20 mph, except I've done it too early. There we go. A yellow ahead, is a double yellow, so we should actually be fine, because the next one, even if it's a single yellow, we're then at the end of the line. We need to start braking here. We're coming downhill and we have 15 mph speed limit coming up. Obviously there is no way you'd have a freight train coming in here, but I think it's extremely unlikely at any rate. Ourselves right up to the buffers, or somewhat close to them anyway. There we are. It's as close as I get. Oh, plenty of room still. But that's it. We are at Portsmouth Harbour. So, yes, 17 freight wagons from London Waterloo to Portsmouth Harbour, not without incident either. I must be done for speeding at least twice. I would imagine, yeah, speeding twice. I mean, it makes it look like operational errors were next to fuck all, but yeah. Still, I don't think I did too badly, considering it's a route that I don't know very well. But there we go. So that is London to Portsmouth completed. So if you have a video request to make, then click on the link in the description and put your request in the comments in that video, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's this one done. So we'll see you at the next one.